Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 6 of Okanogan Prospers, the video interview series sponsored by the Okanogan Chamber of Commerce, where I, Chanelle Carlin, interview local business owners in the Okanogan and learn what they love about Okanogan, why they love being here, why they love living here, maybe raising a family, and also why they love having a business here. Today, I'm really honored. We have a special guest who is an Okanogan Chamber of Commerce member, but also owns a business in Omak and is a member of the Omak Chamber of Commerce. Most of you, you may know her, you may know Maria, but you definitely know her business if you've ever been to a movie in town. So I just figured it would be a great way to have her come and talk about the movie theaters and maybe the movie business or whatever she wants to talk about, and then also the fun movies that we've been having all summer out at the Stampede grounds. So she'll be joining us in just a minute. I also wanted to acknowledge we were going to have Susan Graves this month from OVOC, the Okanogan Valley Orchestra and Chorus costume shop. It's September time, and we were going to have her come and talk to us about the costume shop, maybe Halloween. But a lot of you know we had wildfires here in the Okanogan this year, and thankfully Susan and her family's homes were spared, but they had a bit of work to get property cleaned up, and so we're going to reschedule her for a different time. So I'm very grateful that Maria has agreed to join us today. So please help me welcome Maria Lassila, owner of the Omak and Mirage Theaters and Okanogan Chamber of Commerce member. Thank you.
Spent time in the Midwest where they recognized it, and so we've been selling that. So then in the last couple of weeks we just started adding more flavors and stuff. We've got blue raspberry, which is the amazing blue color.
Wow.
And then we got grape, which is purple, and I'm still looking for the pink one because then I figure I have Trolls popcorn, which will appeal to all children, right? The purple, pink, and blue. But and then what do we do? Chocolate and garlic parmesan, and we're just trying all kinds of different flavors.
So for Christmas, you are set. You are set for the holidays, man. You've got like gift.
Yeah, exactly. I'm working on my packaging right now, so exactly that, so that I can have like gift packs going on. Because I've had people come in. We've been selling at the farmers markets, and one of the girls called me and she said somebody wants to buy all 8 flavors, but they're short $4. And I'm like, yeah, we can do a $4 discount if they want to buy all 8 bags. And I thought, oh, okay, here I'm picking 2 or 3, but they want all 8. I'm like, that's right. We got a rainbow of popcorn flavors going on here.
That's it. That sounds yummy.
That's another thing that we started doing is I started hitting all the farmers markets. And it didn't really occur to me that I was really eligible, because I thought, okay, farmers markets, you're supposed to grow it, right? Or you're supposed to
make it,
make the earrings with your own little hands or something. But I was at the market and I was talking to Rick DeLapp, who's on the board of the farmers market. And he goes, well, you could sell your kettle corn here, And I said, I could? And he's like, yeah. He goes, you're a food processor. You're local. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I started hauling it down to the Okanogan Farmers Market, and we did really well. So I'm like, okay, let's hit the Omak. And then we did the Tonasket, and I did the Winthrop for 2 weeks because I just decided to get up there, not knowing it was the end of their season, which was Labor Day. But I did well up there too. Wow. And then we've been at Queso's because the Cooley Farms had started selling their crepes in front of Queso's on Fridays and Saturdays. Yeah. They had been a fixture at the market for a while, but they decided to move to Queso's. And so thought, well, okay, let's try that too. And that's building. It was the first year that was there. So, and I thought, okay, well, that's a good start. So we are we are a fixture at the farmers markets, in case, in fact, today is Thursday. And so we'll be at Tonasket from 2 to 6. And people are so happy. They're like, oh, thank you for bringing it up here. I don't have to go all the way to Omak. I'm like, you're welcome.
Happy to help.
I'm like the guy in the Moana movie, you're welcome. My nephew sings that song now. So I have to every time.
Uh,
So then what other, and then I had my other brilliant idea, which people seem to like. And it's not really a brilliant idea because I've never really come up with anything that's totally new. I'm always stealing a little bit from other people, which I actually prefer because then I let them go first and make all the major mistakes. Then I can kind of go in and go, okay, I'm going to do this. And I'm not going to do those awful things that you did where you screwed up and lost a lot of money and looked like an idiot. Thank you for going first. So what I have is the drive-in, and it's the Mirage drive-in at Stampede. And what happened there is there was a clip running around on Facebook about a theater in Utah that turned their indoor theater into a drive-in by showing movies in their parking lot. And I looked at that and I thought, well, that looks really cool. I thought, but they've obviously got a little bit deeper pockets because they've done some remodeling, and they've, I assume they like knocked a hole in their wall so they could point the projector out. And then they had an existing large parking lot that they could use. And I looked around and I thought, well, I don't have a big parking lot, and I don't have money to start tearing my building apart, and I'm not really interested in doing that anyway.
Yeah.
So I kind of threw the drive-in idea aside. I thought, no, it's nice for them, but it would never work for me. But then, the joy of networking, I was talking to a woman that runs a conference that I've been to a few years now, the Rocky Mountain National Association of Theater Owners. And I was talking to her, and she said, she goes, you really did talk to Mike, who runs the Hayden Theaters over in Hayden, Idaho, and he's running a drive-in in his parking lot, but he's not using his regular projector. He's got like a whole portable setup, and I'm like, what? And she said, yeah, he's a doer and a shaker. You need to talk to him. So I call him up, and he's like, oh yeah. He's like, yeah, I use an LCD projector, and I painted a screen on the wall, and I use an FM transmitter, and blah, 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 blah. He goes, yeah, you want to come on over? I'll show you everything. And I even got some, pieces of the puzzle that I can let you take home with you. And I'm like, well, I can do that. So I hopped in my taxi truck. Yeah. And I drove over to Hayden, and I got there, and it was the Monday of the 4th of July weekend. And I remember I got there, and I'm like, what is this traffic? I said, aren't we like in lockdown, staying home because of the virus? I'm like, this is like the most traffic I've seen since I've been in Seattle. And he's like, this is what it's like. This is the opening of the season. It's like this. I'm like, okay. And it's also Idaho, which of course is a different animal.
Has different rules than we do.
Yeah. You barely over the border and boom. I'm like, oh, okay. This is how it works. Anyway, so I went to see him, and he, lo and behold, he's like, yeah, I've got an LCD projector, which is just basically the projector that you use when you're, in a conference room showing PowerPoint. Blu-ray player.
Okanogan Chamber, I think, uses them out when they do their movies in the park. That's what we use.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Super simple. Blu-ray player for the movie. FM transmitter to put the sound into the cars. Into the radio. Into the car radios. Yep. Yep. Right in there. So I'm like, well, holy bananas. And of course his thing was that he was right there in the parking lot because he's in a big shopping center. So, people just walk an extra 10 steps to get into the concession stand. And I thought, well, now I just have to go hunt down a space around the Mirage, hopefully the Mirage, possibly the Omak, where I can, find a space to park some cars. So he's like, here, take this projector, and you got a Blu-ray player, take this transmitter, and we'll work out the details later. And so I threw all the stuff in the truck, and I kind of snickered to myself as I was driving away because I thought, I just put a drive-in movie theater in this truck. It's pretty amazing. It is pretty amazing, really, when you think about it. Yeah. So I came back to Omak, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this on the side of the Mirage. I'm like, well, this is kind of tight. Yeah. And then I walked down a couple blocks down in front of Gary Headley's place, and I'm like, well, this might work. So then Todd from City of Omak started walking around with me, and he's like, well, maybe here, maybe there. He goes, well, let me go check into a couple things. And he calls me with the terrible news that there's an ordinance on the books of City of Omak that says drive-in movie theaters are specifically not allowed within city limits. And I'm like, what? What kind of evil person would have sponsored
Who makes
and
these
pushed through
ordinances?
Yes, who would even have come up with that? Was there some like rogue drive-in movie operator who they needed to quash before he
Outlaw?
Yeah, it's like, no. I'm like, geez Louise. So I was sad. But then Todd said, but we found there is one loophole that you could use to get around that. And that would be that you could use the event center at the Stampede grounds. He said, private businesses are not allowed to operate in parks, said, but Stampede grounds and the event center is specifically set up and has the exception so that you could do that. So since the city of Omak owns the Stampede grounds, he said, just, talk to Sarah at Stampede and we can just rent it to you. And the only two things is, how am I going to get a screen up there? And what am I going to do about concession? Well, it worked out. My buddy Ken Miller, who is fearless, and I can't watch him do stuff because it makes me shudder and just hang onto my phone so I can call 911 when he falls and kills himself. Anyway, he got that screen up there. And then lo and behold, the Boy Scouts have a concession stand there, which I was thinking that it was going to be like, a hut, a rabbit hut.
It's right underneath, isn't it?
Until I walked in and I went, oh, this sucker's got power. This sucker's got plumbing. It's got a sink. It's got all the lights. I'm like, oh, this is like the deluxe version.
Yeah.
So we would just, we'd make all of our popcorn and kettle corn, et cetera, and haul it on over there. And, Weinstein Pepsi dropped a cooler in there so I could put bottled soda. We dragged all our other stuff over there. And so lo and behold, we were able to start doing a drive-in movie theater. Yeah.
Which is super fun.
It's super fun. Yeah. And I've still got it going on right now. Still watching the weather. Not sure how long we can keep it up, but we're still kind of the only game in town. So people are a little more forgiving. This last weekend, we've gone down to 2 days a week, except that this last Sunday I showed Eagle Boy, which is a documentary of the suicide race. Yeah. We showed that for free, asking for donations for fire victims. We partnered with a local group, the River Warriors Society, that that's taking care of fire victims. And so we collected money for them to come in, for people that came in. And so we're going to do the same thing this Sunday. We're going to be showing Sonic the Hedgehog. And once again, it's going to be free admission. We're asking for donations. And the donations are going to go to Okan Dogs, but is the name of the Facebook group. It's the dog rescue group that's based here. And currently they are collecting money for hay for animal fire victims, all the ranch animals that are going hungry. And so that's what like I said, it's going to be free with a donation, and all of the proceeds are going to go to them. And that's Sunday night. And Sonic the Hedgehog, which is a great film because it's family oriented, it's cartoon, but it's got Jim Carrey in it, so it's for all ages.
And what time? So I'm assuming now that because it's dark earlier, the movies are starting a little bit earlier.
Yep, this weekend we are 7:15. Yeah, every weekend we start 15 minutes earlier. So this weekend it's 15 minutes earlier. We've got Kong Skull Island is our regular Friday and Saturday show. Yeah, and then Snake on Sunday, and it's 7:15.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much is the drive-in on Friday and Saturday?
$10 a carload.
Okay.
I have even had one person come in who had like a 15-passenger van, and I didn't count, but I figured he had at least 15 people in there. I said, "You're getting your money's worth." He's like, "Yeah." So yeah, it's $10 a carload, so you don't have to hide anybody in the trunk because it's unlimited. So
can I just share a story with you really quickly about that? When you first started doing the movies this summer, my stepson Aaron, who is now in South Dakota in college, he was so excited to go with his friends, and so the first night he wanted to get tickets, but they were all sold out. So he got tickets for the second night. And he told us, so we're driving home, I think, because I officiate weddings, and I think that Bill and I were driving home from a wedding, and he was texting with Aaron just to, see what his plans were for the evening and for the weekend. And Aaron said he wanted to go to the drive-in and with some friends. And it's like, oh, okay, well, great, have a good time. Did you get tickets? He's like, yeah. And went ahead and bought 2. And we said, oh, okay, well, how much is it? He says, $10 a carload. And I said, are you taking 2 cars? And he says, no, so I can take my friends with me. I said, honey, $10 a carload is $10 for everybody in the car. I said, give us the other ticket. We'll go too.
There we go.
But the thought of, he's never been to a drive-in. And a lot of people his age have never been to one because, they were a big thing when I was a kid, but they are not now. I mean, it's very hard to find an actual drive-in. So the idea of paying for a carload of people to go one price was just foreign to him. So that was really actually pretty cute.
He's not the only one, though. I had a lot of people come in, and I remember one time somebody, I think they paid for 3, and I said, oh, you paid for 3? And they're like, yeah, me, my wife here, and my kid. And I'm like, no, carload. They're like, oh. And I said, well, come in free the next couple times. They're like, oh, okay. But no, there's several people that that didn't get that concept. I'm like, no, per car. But they were just happy to be there. So
yeah, it's great because especially we all love to go to the movies anyway, and the movie theaters are a great place, and your movie theaters are brilliant, and you always have. And I want to talk about some of the fun things that you always do. I mean, because you do great things for the community and at the movies. But I think one of the things that has been so helpful during these last few months is just that opportunity to go out and socialize, but socialize safely, right? They did it safely. They're out in their vehicles, watching the movies, which we weren't allowed to do, watching them outside in the fresh air and, with their popcorn and with their pop, but also seeing their neighbors.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. Because otherwise, I guess it's sort of a loophole, but people are in their cars because we couldn't have like the movies in the parks because then it's like a gathering of however many people, which would be, against the rules. But with the drive-in, you don't even have to get out and walk around. You just kind of sit back of your truck and holler at your neighbor. And so
you're self-contained.
Yeah. So it was all legal beagle, and yet it was a way of socializing that is not available anywhere else. So I think that part of the fun. It was like, who cares what's playing? We just want to go and hang out with people.
Right. And the movie's it's a great byproduct. Like, woo, I got to watch Ghostbusters.
Yeah, there we go.
So that was super fun. So thank you very much. So one of the things I also wanted to, just let folks know, folks who don't know, when Maria and I first met, when she first came back home to Omak, and she started coming to the Okanogan Chamber of Commerce, it was actually really fun because I had not too long before that just returned home from Ireland to Washington. And although I was new to the Okanagan, I had lived in Ireland for 8 years. And it's not common that I meet people who have lived abroad for such a long time. And so when I met Maria, I was really, excuse me, sorry. Oops, sorry. My phone has an alarm on it, and I didn't realize it was 11. So I was just really excited to meet her. And one of the things that I learned about Maria at the time was that she had a podcast going in Milan, right, with local business owners. Isn't that what you were doing when you were over there? And so when I started doing Okanogan Prospers, I thought, at some point I'm going to have Maria on and just, let her know that she's partly responsible for the inspiration of this show. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Yes, the technology is much better now than when I did it. The Zoom has made everything possible, hasn't it?
Right. Yeah, it does. It definitely makes it a lot easier. A lot easier to do these things and keep in touch and keep in contact. So do you have anything else that you're planning and that you have going on? Any, one of the things that's always super fun, like especially in fall time and at the holiday time when you do the movies, is the costumes or, just Halloween time. Halloween costumes.
Yeah, that is, like I said, I don't know how long this is going to be going on for, just because of the weather-wise. I don't know how long people are going to want to brave the weather, basically.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be partnering with Family Health Centers to do a free Halloween movie, and it's going to be Beetlejuice. And that way, you know, we family oriented, not just for the kids. So we're going to do that on Saturday, October 31st, since Halloween
on
is
Halloween
on a Saturday this year. And I don't know what time. I have to go consult my little handy sunset guide to see. It'll be pretty early, you know, because it'll be as soon as it gets dark. So probably in the, I don't know, 6:30ish or something. So yeah, so we'll be doing a free movie. It'll be free to everybody. And I've just been talking to Kathleen over at Family Health Centers, and it's going to be all new because in the past, you know, we've had the Halloween Harvest Festival in the park, and I've done a free movie in the Omak, and I just did the movie, and then everybody ran out to do the other festivities. Yeah. But since we don't know if there's other festivities, we're kind of looking at it to see what else we might want to do to add to the evening. And so we're open to everything at this point. So yeah, that is probably going to be the end of the season, I'm guessing. Just because November's a hard sell.
It's a little chilly
to be out in the weather. Yeah.
Right.
Although you never know. You know, I'm open to everything.
Yeah. Okay. So Beetlejuice, hopefully for Halloween at Stampede.
Not hopefully. Oh no, it's booked.
Okay.
No,
okay.
Yeah, it's Beetlejuice.
So prepare for the weather, basically, is what we'll have to do anyway.
Well, just, you know, trick-or-treaters never die, right? They're out there in the cold, and, you know, all those children survive, so they can handle 90 minutes outside is what I figure, right? Be out there anyway.
I agree. Put your rain gear on if it rains.
Exactly. Yeah, like it's just like trick-or-treating, except you're watching something on a movie screen instead of begging for candy.
Oh, all right. Well, that sounds brilliant. That sounds absolutely brilliant. And I, again, Maria, I just really appreciate you coming on today, but I also just appreciate your creativity and your efforts to stay open and the community's, you know, willingness to support the theaters.
Yes, I do appreciate the support. Thank you very much. But yeah, put flavored gourmet popcorn on your Christmas shopping list.
Right on. Absolutely. Are you going to, and you're working on the packaging now, so I can only imagine it'll be cool.
It'll be cool. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to let you get back to your busy day, especially if you're getting ready to head up to Tonasket today. So good luck at the farmer's market.
Thank you very much.
And thanks again. And for everybody else, I just wanted to say thank you for joining us at Okanogan Prospers. And next month, we will be talking with, I think, Stacy from the Okanogan Land Trust. And they'll be telling us about all the things they have going on with conserving land and just the different ocanology activities maybe and whatever else they have happening. So thanks very much. And Maria, thank you. Have a brilliant day.
All right. You too, Chanelle. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.